You'll be fine. Now, on you go.
The general public is constantly encouraged to venerate actors, treating them as powerful figures deserving of glorification and near worship. They're supposed to be seen as highly relatable, but with qualities that are just out of reach for the average individual. Films' paratext serve to elevate the actors' statuses, increasing their product's desirability by emphasizing the prestige of those involved. In truth, Hollywood personas are false constructions, and each star presents a modified version of themselves, mediated through interviews, social media, and the roles they choose to play. But, obviously, celebrities are also fully dimensional people, meaning they exist simultaneously as unattainable and idealized beings, and as regular, normal humans. As MacDonald puts it, the actor takes up conflicting societal roles as person, performer, sign, and asset. This is the world explored by 2011's The Artist. The person-performer dichotomy was particularly prevalent in early Hollywood. Stars were far more limited in their interactions with the public, so studios had much greater control over how they were perceived. The studio system, which made actors directly subservient to large corporations, also stripped them of any real systemic power, meaning the high status afforded by their personas was largely illusory. The film's leads, George Valentin and Pepe Miller, are exploratory responses to Richard Dyer's description of stars as both construction and commodity. George starts as a quintessential silent film star, handsome, charming, and popular. Desirable stars are sources of great potential economic power for studios, and as such are promoted heavily. When George is no longer seen as one such source of gain, the institutions that created him seek to bury him, no longer seeing the actor as a valuable commodity. In fact, Valentin's great failure comes in his inability to recognize the actor's true role as a member of the powerless elite, people of great public interest who lack real institutional power. Though actors drew large crowds and were held in high esteem, they answered directly to studios, who were essentially capable of revoking their fame. Even the large fees paid to lead actors subjugated the majority by fragmenting the acting community and fostering direct dependence on producers. By not appearing in talkies, George effectively banishes himself from the traditional Hollywood system, assuming that the popularity and apparent superiority his stardom gave will allow him continued success. But George's identity is tied to a dated and now undesirable public persona, so his work outside of the system as an artist is a flop. His social elevation is gone, and with it goes the illusion of institutional power. Stars such as George imbue studios with power but fail to hold it themselves. Once they're no longer able to be used as figures for exchange, they face becoming useless and fading into obscurity. Pepe stands in stark contrast to this, following the demands of the studio to the letter and existing as Hollywood's new sweetheart as a result. Her success begins with the application of a fake beauty spot, an act that apparently allows her to have something that others don't. As well as serving as a subtle intertextual reference that equates her to one of the most iconic star personas of all time, the spot highlights false individuality and the manufactured nature of celebrity identity within the Hollywood system. Just like a star's constructed persona, the spot is an illusion concocted solely to make her a more valuable commodity. As Pepe finds success, she continues to apply the spot, visually demonstrating her ready willingness to enact the celebrity role expected of her. Actors obviously perform in cinematic roles, but their public existence is in itself an even greater performance. In order to sustain ongoing success, they must present an image which is both appealing and unattainable, creating a false self to elevate their perceived value. Eventually, Pepe does clash with film producers in her efforts to reinstate George's star. Although this is a slight deviation from the depowering depiction of celebrity presented by the rest of the narrative, it should be noted that her descent is entirely private, and their eventual solution does not deviate from the demands of the studio system. Though The Artist directly explores the Hollywood of the 1920s and 30s, many of the problematic facets it depicts are still relevant today. In the Me Too era, we've seen how powerful producers can still make or break careers, and regularly come to understand that stars' personas can fail to reflect the truth of who they are. Social media allows celebrities greater control over their relationship with the public, but still forces them to construct star personas in the face of modern fan culture. Valentin and Miller's relationships with stardom highlight the inherent struggles of existence within celebrity culture, pitting the fulfillment of cultural and corporate duty against their ability to live as actualized people. Though Hollywood stardom is frequently idolized, in truth, actors are forced to project false, elevated images which stand in stark contrast to their interior selves.